Alright, so I'm showing you a photo of this right now. What exactly is this? Well, based on the actual thumbnail of the video and of course the title, of course you know what it is, right? Sand on the beach can apparently look like this. So this is very interesting. I want to read about the fascinating science, just a little bit of science behind why sand looks like this and the different types of sand. So if that sounds interesting to you, daily videos every single day on this channel, on the YouTube channel too, all right? Now let's get into it. Right now we're talking about this from two different websites, all right? Intelligent Living and of course this one right here, RS Science. So if you guys want to check them out, please do. But we'll quickly go down and talk about this, right? This is how amazing sand looks when it's magnified up to 300 times. That's a lot of times. That's a lot of times. Now, if you had a micro penis, you would have a 10-inch cock by the time you magnified it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Why do you guys watch me? I don't know. It escapes me. But look, a guy called Gary Greenberg has actually photographed a lot of these different sand particles. And it is so fascinating because, you know, you and me, we literally stand on these things when we go to the beach, right? And you have absolutely no idea what some of these things look like. Now, don't be fooled by these photos. These photos are from a particular sand at a particular beach somewhere on Earth, right? Not all sand looks the same when you go to different beaches, right? They all look different kind of thing, roughly, all right? Now, there's something interesting that I want to read from here, right? Now, this guy, Greenberg, he actually worked on the Superman, the film. All right, he used his micro photography for the opening scene of Superman, the very first Superman film in 1977. So I thought that was really, really interesting that a guy who does geology photography on sand actually worked on Superman. But going to the actual other webpage, we're going to read a bit more from this one instead of the other one, all right? Have you ever seen sand under a microscope? It is one of the most incredible things to look at under a microscope. Apparently, now there are white, red, green, and black sand beaches in the world. Apparently, I didn't even know that myself until reading this. Do you know what determines the colors of the sand? You will get the answers in this blog post, they say. Very interesting, right? Now, where does the sand come from? Well, sand is a byproduct of weathering. Now, these tiny particles came from many sources, such as large rocks or mountains. Sand forms when rocks break down from weathering, such as deserts, all right, and sometimes are eroded by rivers over thousands of years. Yeah, it's a long process. Now, so this is what it can come from, right? You've got minerals on the left and you've got biological on the right. So start with the mineral. You've got the rocks and the crystals which can turn into sand. Of course, you've got clams and coral reefs which, you know, break down after a long period of time and create those beautiful little things that you see here. Wow. I don't know about you, but all I can think about right now is Christopher Reeve flying in space with that girl. What's that girl's name? And they're both flying in space, but they can both equally breathe in space. Ah, those were the days when the innocent audiences were, well, innocent, weren't they? No, yeah, anyway. So going back down here again, some beach sands are not made of minerals, but rather shells from marine organisms and coral fragments. Now, the ocean waves and marine animals such as parrotfishes break down the reefs and the shells to small pieces and bring them to the beach to produce sand. In fact, parrotfishes are famous for their ability to produce white coral sand, apparently. Australia has some amazing white sand, and if you ever come down under. Now, speaking of different sand particles from different beaches, England has a lot of sand. This is the kind of beach they have in England, right? Not all beaches have that, but a lot of them do, right? I like to pretend that it's aggressive, right? This sand is aggressive. I'm beach sand in England. I'm most commonly known as a rock, and when you stand on me, your feet will bleed. Sucked in. That's what beach sand would sound like if there were a living organism, right? Anyway, Right, so if you're about to visit a beach or you are at a beach currently and you want to see sand for what it truly is, right, the very small little grains of particles that they are, right, this is a great way to see them. You need a microscope. But hang on, before we measure our dicks for a second, not everyone has a microscope, not everyone has a penis either apparently, but everyone's got a phone, right? So I want to show you the hack that you can use to see the sand particles if you have a phone. All right, but going to the microscope first. Now the best way to observe sands under a microscope is to use a stereo microscope with a magnification of 10 to 40 times. All right, now the stereo microscope gives you a 3D view of each grain of sand. They look like little crystals with amazing shapes and colors. You can also try to view them under a white or black background, or illuminate them from the side, which allows the color of the minerals to stand out. You may not be able to see good images of sand using a compound microscope because the sands are usually not transparent and they are thick as well. So that's something to think about, right? Now, this is the hack if you have a cell phone, which most people these days, I'm assuming, does have one, all right? This is something you can get, this little thing right here. Now, it's a little attachment that goes on your camera, and I most likely will link one of these down in the description below. But if I haven't, go find one yourselves. Good luck on your journey. Now, this will get you some great images, right? So if you do not have a stereo microscope, which is pretty much everyone that I know, this is what you're going to use. You may use a magnifying glass. Now, a common magnification for that is 2 to 6 times. Or a macro lens, which is 10 to 20 times attached to a cell phone to see the sand grains, right? Now, the series of images below, which I will show you in a second, are the same samples taken using a magnifying glass, one with a 20 times macro lens attached to a cell phone, and the other one is a cell phone again, but with 3 times zoom in function. So here are the 3 photos, right? Photo 1, magnifying glass, right here. Pretty image, all right, but we want to go deeper down, obviously. There's the second image with the 20 times zoom macro lens attached to a actual Google Pixel 3 cell phone, if you guys are actually interested in what phone was used to get that one. And this one is with the 60 times magnification of the grains of sand, so it's basically using that magnifying glass. It's using that little lens that goes onto the phone while zooming in on your phone, right, kind of thing. And you get some great results. So you don't actually need a stereo microscope to get that. But yeah, going to the different colors of the actual sands that you will encounter. There are some sands from some black sands from Hawaii. I think that's Hawaii. Yeah, look at the multicolor sands here. So depending where you go, such as Australia, I don't know if that's Australia. No, it isn't. But there are some great sands in Australia which have like, that beautiful red color. And they basically come from the rocks that are there, the surrounding areas, right? Obviously, you're not going to find little shells and marine life creatures inland kind of thing, unless of course they're fossilized from thousands of years ago when that part of the earth used to be ocean, right? But that's a whole nother thing entirely. It pretty much reminds me of the movie Saving Private Ryan, right? So let me read from this for you guys now, right? In the well-known 1998 film Saving Private Ryan, actor Tom Sizemore is depicted collecting handfuls of dirt and placing them in a tin marked France. And basically, people were doing that in real life. People that went to war, right? They used to collect, little souvenirs of their journeys wherever they were taken, right? And even people today do that, right? They go to a beach and they collect a little bit of where they were, of France, for example. But it's probably suggested that you actually don't do that because there is a sand shortage and the world is running out of a crucial but underappreciated commodity. Now that's a whole nother video for another day, but I just thought we'd talk about the beautiful bits of sand that you may or may not have ever seen in life. Like, have you ever seen anything like that before? I'm gonna say probably not. I'm sure most people have not seen these kind of sand crystals before, and after seeing this I thought to myself, well, there's absolutely going to be a video made on this channel regarding this subject. I hope you guys like the video, right? We're on 2 different YouTube channels. Channel 2 where we make daily videos, and of course Channel 1, where we make travel films all around the world. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, at Tallboy Gareth. I have been tall. My name is Gareth, and I'll see you beautiful ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, tomorrow. Bye-bye.